Check it out, dude. I'm Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can
Ow. Yeah, don't worry about me, I'm fine. What up, y'all, and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I'm Adam Kowski, AK for short, and today I want to start off my first video about one of my favorite movies of all time, Sam Raimi's 2002 Spider-Man. Let's start off with talking about my favorite part of the movie, Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man / Peter Parker. At the beginning, Peter Parker is a guy who's a geek, but is a smart person. He doesn't have a whole lot of friends, but is an overall nice guy. I love the scene at the beginning where he thinks Mary Jane is waving at him and he's just all, but really she's waving at her friends and he's just all, oh. Raise your hand if that's ever happened to you in high school. Many times. And then after he is bitten by the radioactive spider, I like the development throughout the course of the movie that happens. When he wakes up the next day after being bitten, he sees that his vision changed, so he doesn't have to wear glasses, and his body changes. He's put on a lot of muscle, and he's just all, if that was me, I'd probably do something like this.
Oh yeah, if being a hunk is wrong, then I don't want to be right.
I love all the different reactions Peter Parker has when discovering all of his new different abilities. He's surprised by, the web slinging, the spider sense, him beating up the bully, Flash Thompson, and is even scared. When he feels tough and strong after fighting the bully and everyone's walking away from him, calling him a freak, he runs away and is scared. But then when he starts doing that great scene, clawing on the wall, dun, 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 he's in awe, and then he realizes, what else can I do now? And he starts jumping over buildings. It's awesome. I love it. I remember my parents telling me not to do that, and it didn't end well. I also like how Peter Parker becomes pretty cocky after discovering his powers. When he becomes a wrestler and he makes fun of Macho Man Randy Savage, that's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you? And when he gets ripped off by the wrestling people for not getting the money he thought he was going to get, and then someone robs them, he could have stopped the robber, but he just lets him go. I missed the part where that's my problem. Of course, he does come to regret the choice letting the robber go, because that same robber kills Uncle Ben, which Peter takes into what Uncle Ben told him earlier. With great power comes great responsibility. Thus, he takes up the mantle as Spider-Man. And not only does he have to balance out his life as Peter and Spider-Man, as Peter, he has to deal with holding a job now that he's done with high school. And as Spider-Man, he has to deal with people who are afraid of him, people who don't like him, people who admire him, crimes going around, saving people, and the bad press he gets from the Daily Bugle. And one of his biggest threats is, of course, Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. A lot of people give him a hard time because of his costume, how it looks like a Power Ranger costume, and that's not like in the comics, like a rubber mask and all, but I'm not judging the costume, I'm judging his performance, and he is having a ball in this movie. He's like the Joker almost. He's just having a fun time in this role. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the goblin and took the spider out. I love it. Also, while Mary Jane's not one of my favorite Spider-Man characters ever, not that I don't like Mary Jane at all, I just prefer Felicia Hardy, or in this case, Black Cat. Down, boy! Down! Down, boy! Now, on to the... I do like Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane. I like how she's the pretty girl. She's the popular girl at school, but at home she doesn't have the best life at home because she's always in arguments with her father and mother, and she wants to be an actress, but after she graduates from high school, she has to deal with a job at a diner, which she doesn't like all that much. So there's a bit of independence in her, and there's a lot of frustration in her as well. I also really do like James Franco as Harry Osborn in this movie. I like the conflict he has with his dad, and I like the friendship, but the kind of rivalry a little bit with Peter Parker, and how he starts dating Mary Jane around the middle of the movie. Peter's a little jealous, and Harry kind of knows that, but they're still friends. But at the same time, you get a little conflict with them. Not a whole lot until the second movie. But James Franco did a great job as Harry Osborn, to me. I also love Aunt May and Uncle Ben in this movie. I love how sweet Aunt May is in this movie, and I love how Uncle Ben is an overall nice guy. Like, he's just a guy you want to sit down at a table and talk to in this movie. And of course, one of the best casting in superhero movies ever, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. Do I really need to talk about this? He is spot on casting. If we can get a picture of Julia Roberts in a thong, we can sure get a picture of this weirdo. I love it. I laughed as a kid. I still laugh now. I'm so glad they brought him back in the MCU. Aside from the great casting choices, I really love how the story is told in this movie. The only thing that kind of drags for me is the romance with Peter and Mary Jane, but other than that, I think it's told at a great pace. I love how it is from beginning to end, and everything in the middle, except for the romance. It just fits perfectly. He gets bit by a spider, he's finding out his powers, tragedy happens, he becomes Spider-Man, he has to fight the bad guy, he has to save the day at the end. I love how it's told. Sam Raimi does a great job directing this movie, giving it its own unique style and look to it. What's also great about the movie is the tone being backed up by Danny Elfman, spot on music. He composed The Nightmare Before Christmas and a bunch of other Tim Burton products. This is probably the one I remember the most. When you hear the music start at the beginning, showing the Columbia Pictures lady just with the torch, I'm just getting excited. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. It just builds up, and when you see that title card Spider-Man, yes! Yes! It's just fantastic music. I still remember it almost 20 years later. The action, when you really look into it, is pretty good too. It's Sam Raimi, so he's really known for a lot of gory and bloody stuff. This is PG-13, so it's not that violent, but it's pretty violent for a PG-13 movie. When he's chasing the robber in the warehouse, and he grabs him and throws his head into a bunch of windows, and the screaming, the ah, ooh. Or when he's fighting the Green Goblin at the end, it is brutal. He gets beat up. Just every punch, you feel the impact, and it hurts. It looks like it really hurts. A lot of times the action is Spider-Man just swinging around, zipping people with his web, putting them on giant spider webs and all, but I'm still fine with that. That's Spider-Man. He's not that violent. He tries to avoid it as much as he can, but whenever it's like physical contact with Green Goblin such, it looks like it hurts a lot. So with good casting, solid characters, action, great music, and very good directing, are reasons why I consider Spider-Man a great movie. One of my all-time favorites. Does that mean it's going to be your favorite? No. In fact, you probably may see this movie and not even like it. But for now, personally, I do recommend this movie. Not just for Spider-Man fans, although they'll probably see it already, but for people who like movies as well, especially superhero movies. And with all that being said and done, that concludes my review on Sam Raimi's 2002 Spider-Man. What did y'all think? If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Please share with your friends and family and leave a comment if you like to say anything. Also, leave a request on anything you would like me to talk about. Other Spider-Man projects, movies, TV shows, video games, anything. Put them down in the comment section and I'll check them out for a future video. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.